You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again today. We have another true honor. We're going to have a special guest for today. We're going to talk to Amy Scruggs. She is a TV host, a media coach, a recording artist, and a best-selling author. You can go check her website right now. It's amyscruggsmedia.com. Shows her list of her resume. Man, she's so busy. She just did a segment with Dr. Phil. So you know she's on top of her game. First and foremost, I want to welcome you, Miss Amy. How you doing?
Thank you. I was really looking forward to this. You have an incredible show, some other fabulous guests that you've had on before me. So this should be a really good time. And thank you.
I appreciate you taking time in your schedule being with us today. So, man, let's talk about media, because that is a specialty for you. You do media coaching. You give tips to any professional out there. So this is a great learning opportunity for all of us. So first, before we dive into that, give a little backdrop of yourself for the audience.
Sure. I'll give you the Cliff Note version a little bit, but I did start in the business world, in sales, in the mortgage industry in Southern California. So I spent a lot of my time kind of cutting my teeth in the business, working in sales, communications, just learning that grind and how to set myself apart. And it definitely was effective communication and being comfortable speaking in front of others. And when the mortgage industry collapsed in 2007, real estate and mortgage disappeared, the recession hit, I took the shift and took it and put it back into my music career. I had been performing my whole life, had a chance to do some recordings in the early 2000s. This was an opportunity to take it full time, which I did, and went and asked for the business. Again, communications, being comfortable doing radio interviews, being on morning shows and television, to go out there and tour full time as an artist, and had a beautiful opportunity to open for some of the biggest names in country music during that time. And then combined the careers again in 2011, stepped back into sales coaching, business development, while still performing and kind of weaving the two back together, which opened up the doors for TV hosting the last 5 years on a national show, leading up to realizing that there is a common thread with anyone when it comes to being in front of the camera. So I didn't go to school in communications. I didn't just start on television and that's it. It was a very organic approach that brought me through this realization that everyone wants to share their message and be more confident in it. Everyone is so excited to share what they've done or what they've built, whether it's their own business, whether it's a nonprofit, community outreach, whatever that is. And sometimes that message gets lost by the nerves of being on camera or being on a podcast like yours that is like, uh-oh, what do I say? So as I was working with professionals in the TV studio the past 5 years, it really brought it big to my attention, because it now wasn't just about me out there promoting my music or what I was doing. This was about others. And I learned quickly how to help them right in the moment so that they could be more articulate, so that they could share a little bit more comfortably. And then I started kind of coaching on the side. And then I started coaching more. And then I started getting more requests. And then 2020 happened. Brilliant opportunity to really showcase the entire world going to virtual meetings, going to a virtual platform. So now it was no longer just people trying to put themselves out there on camera and maybe TV or major media platforms, but it was everyone just trying to survive, still keep their businesses going, relationships going. And I don't know about you, but were you noticing it was a little disastrous at the beginning? What we were seeing with virtual interactions?
I mean, I think by now, I think most people have become Zoom experts for sure.
Definitely an improvement. At the beginning, it was like, oh no. But I am surprised that still today I see professionals that are not framed right. They don't even know how to put themselves in the right part of the room so that the light isn't directly behind them, turning them into a ghost. How to just make sure that audio is correct, just cleaning the lens and looking into the camera. Some things that are very important to create that real, natural, interactive way of relating to each other, even in a virtual time just like this. And so I think that there's been a lot of growth, but there's still a long way to go. And now we see a lot of professionals wanting to be podcasting just like this. Our podcasting visibility has just increased exponentially. But not everyone has really taken the time to prepare themselves for bringing their best into that podcast.
And that's all facts because I mean, me myself, I'm camera shy. It's my voice that sells the show most importantly. But you're exactly right. I mean, I'm looking at the camera right now, but you have the ability to not just coach people, but really help them be comfortable with themselves. Because don't you have to be comfortable with yourself in order for you to be yourself on camera?
That's the most personal part that I enjoy about the coaching, especially working one-on-one, different than workshops. And I love the workshops too. It's great to get a group together. But one-on-one, there's a lot more vulnerability, and there has to be that willingness to break it down and really take a real look at it. You know, it's the same face that we take out every day. It's the same face that we go to the store with. It's the same face we go to parties or see our loved ones. We're out in the world with this face, but something happens when that camera goes on. And I don't know how many times you've seen it, but kind of that deer in the headlight look. I've seen it over and over and over again, and learning how to get comfortable, because what happens is they're actually seeing themselves finally. So that's the true. Best way to get around that is to start familiarizing yourself with yourself. We're looking outside our eyes. And so there's ways that we can work and say, okay, we need to learn your face. The resting face, I know everybody, you hear about it, it's a joke, but it really actually is a big deal. Knowing what your face is saying when you're speaking, and most importantly, when you're listening. The active listening face. I mean, listen, this could save marriages. This information is a big deal, because a lot of times, guys, you'll get that question like, why are you mad at me? I'm not mad, but your face says you are. It's really important when you understand what your face is saying when you're listening. That could completely change the narrative of how something's being received, or showing that I'm interested in what you're saying. I'm here with you. You wouldn't walk into, let's say you got to meet your favorite celebrity. You've waited your whole life to meet this, whether it's an athlete, an actor, a politician, I don't care who it is. You're about to meet this person. Would you walk in and scowl at them the entire time? Probably not. No. We want to make that same, like, wow, whoever I'm with, whatever I'm doing, you're important to me. You matter. Imagine the leveling up of relationships that could go deeper in our profession if we interacted in these meetings this way. And maybe as a podcast guest, it's my responsibility to show you that I'm 100% with you right now. And I'm excited to talk to you. Yes, we're not sitting across from each other in a studio like maybe we could have before. But how beautiful. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, but we can still have this great connection.
And that's a great point, because I feel like, imagine we took that tip you just said and we practiced that as if a camera was on us all day.
Yes.
Because part of me is thinking, well, man, what if you're in the office? Because I'm at the radio station as well, and we see everyone coming, down the hallway, getting their guests and stuff and doing other shows. And you're right, because when a client has their guest for their show, they've never been in the station before. So the first thing they're going to do is test out the environment and see how people in the office are acting. And it'll be kind of awkward if everyone kind of had a stone cold look on their face, because it creates the experience for the person and makes them make a split decision, if they're going to open up or they're going to kind of hide in the shell a little bit.
It's so true. And we're seeing this a lot still in virtual meetings. I see it on television interviews. I mean, I'll be watching the news or a major network or a local network, and I'm seeing individuals on these that don't understand what they're representing when they're listening to the newscaster, because it is scary. It is a lot when you're waiting to be patched through and it's a live interview. I've done many of them. You've really got to be on your game, but your face has to show that you're there. Let your brain do the work. And anytime you can practice memorizing what you look like, what your body language is, and how you present yourself, now you can worry about your content. But if I'm not preparing ahead of time and I think I'm going to go into a live interview without self-awareness and try to remember my talking points, that's when you see disasters happen. And when you see faces kind of like this, and the scowl and the confusion, and they get thrown off, then the filler words start coming out. Thank you. Thanks. This is what happens because your brain is trying to catch up with the reality of, I'm on camera. Now what do I say? So like you said, what if there was a camera with you all the time? I have a technique that I'd love to share. Mm-hmm. This is a tip that I work with my clients. I actually make it it's required. If you're working with me, this is required. But I'm going to put it out there for any of you listening. If you're watching this, I'm voluntarily asking you to do this, and trust me, you will thank me later. For about 2 weeks, take every phone call, when possible, in front of a mirror. Boy, you want to find out what your natural responses are. And I don't care if it's your mom, your girlfriend, your father, your kids, the dog groomer, the postman, the gardener. I don't care who it is, every phone call, because then you're going to see what that range of emotion is when you're mad, when you're happy, when you're excited, when you're confused, when you're bored, when you're annoyed, because we have all these calls that come in for different topics, right? Watch yourself have that in the mirror. You're going to find out what your resting faces are in every situation. And the more you learn that and realize how to make those adjustments, guess what happens when you go on camera and those same situations reveal themselves? You're prepared.
That's really great, man. I mean, I'm going to be taking these notes too. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I know y'all listen to podcasts, right? So I'll have to make some more videos. But yeah, if you listen to this right now on the podcast, go to our YouTube, just go to our website, refocusradio.com. And from there, you can catch our little YouTube channel and watch this video so you can practice this. Because I think we also practice this. I think it's almost like the handshake. No one wants to shake a person's hand that's all loose and no grip.
I hate that.
Because it's a lack of confidence from both ends. And right. If it's the first time the person meets the individual, it's like first impression. So now they will always remember you. They don't remember you. They remember that hand.
Yes.
So I think that's
so. This virtual is the same thing. Exactly. If you and I, if when we said hello and greeted each other, if I was just kind of sitting here like this, hey.
Right.
Thanks for having me on today. Nice to meet you. Would you have been as excited about our interview?
I'd probably be like, maybe she doesn't like the show.
I was ready. Like, oh, when you came on, I'm like, hello, it's so good to see you. I'm happy to be here. I wanted you to see that I cared. You took the time out of your day to want to have this conversation with me. I was taking the time out of my day to want to have this with you. Don't we want to make this the best experience possible? And because I know my face, I don't need to worry about looking at the monitor to see what I look like.
You're good. You're good. She's a good coach. And the reason why I say that is because people who can make light of things and not be so serious, I think they have the best ability to teach. Because teaching a person who's never done something before or hasn't done it on a professional level as maybe the one that's the mentor, it takes the pressure off. And I think people, it's almost like someone who's like a supervisor. If they want the employees to do certain things a certain way, they also are implementing that with how they act themselves.
Yes. Anything that I teach, I 100% am doing it in my own life every day and have to, or because I'm still out there in media all the time. I don't just coach it. I'm doing interviews constantly. As you mentioned, I was on a major show yesterday. Dr. Phil's show aired. I have to practice these same tools so I don't get thrown off. And even in my communications with my family, let's say that my daughter yells down the stairs, "Hey mom, she needs something." I do not reply back with, "Yeah, what?" Because guess what's going to happen when I'm in this interview with you and you ask me a question? I might go, "Yeah." I don't. That's practice true. And say, "Yes, how can I help you? Yes, is there something you need?" I practice how to articulate, how to answer questions in every moment of my day with everyone, whether I'm on camera or just with my family, so that what comes out in the heat of the moment, when all cameras are on in Paramount Studios, I know that I'm going to be articulate. Because if I don't practice it constantly, I will fail.
Man, these are really great tips. If you're listening to this right now, this is something you probably use, like I said earlier, pretend a camera's on you all the time whenever you're in front of a person, whether it's at work or it's at home. I think this is a great tip. Just communicating with people without words, because your facial expression, the eyes, if you're squinting because you're mad or confused or whatever, versus relaxed and calm, is something that, based on your experience, how long did it take for you to start nailing those different emotions and body language and practicing preparing yourself to be on camera? How long did it kind of take you?
This has been an evolution of 20 years of starting with those first experiences in sales and having some success. But I still look back at some of those photos and I'm like, ooh, wasn't totally aware of my face. And I will watch my first television interview in 2008. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Well, there was room for improvement. So for me, it's been a constant leveling up. But the willingness is the most important. A lot of people aren't willing to take these steps. Now, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. And then they wonder why they don't like watching the tape and seeing what they looked like when they were on camera. You're going to keep doing the same things. So for me, it's definitely been an evolution. Doing television the last 5 years constantly really sped up that process. And I watched the tape. It's extremely important. We go back and watch what we do. You can't learn if you don't watch the tape. Pro athletes, what do? They have to watch that tape. We are no different. I had a beautiful opportunity to interview Coach John Robinson. He was the championship coach for USC, the LA Rams, took Louisiana to their championship in 2019 as the head coach advisor. He's a friend of mine. I asked if he would contribute in my book, Lights, Camera, Action, wrote it during the pandemic like everybody else. And I asked him, Coach, why? Why is it so important that you watch the tape in the locker room? And his answer was so brilliant. He said, Amy, they learn the game from the tape. They can't go on the field until they've watched the tape. They learn the plays from the tape. He said, because watching the tape creates champions. How much does that apply to our life? What we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to do. And I guarantee anyone watching this or listening to this will be in another virtual meeting. You may not be on national television. You may not try to do local TV. You may not even want to do podcasts like this. You love listening to them. That's awesome. But I guarantee you're going to be on a camera. You're going to be at a party. Somebody turns their cell phone on and says, hey, come here. Don't be the one that hits the floor anymore. Start embracing yourself so that you can put yourself out there more. And the results are really pretty fun.
And once again, listen to I Am Refocused Radio, talking to our guest, Amy Scruggs. You go to her website, amyscruggsmedia.com. And we're talking about everything about just how you look on camera, but most importantly, how you present yourself with your face on camera. Because I think we can check everything else off, but that part. And I think sometimes we can miss those opportunities. Because to your point, I like the part when you talk about the coach in the film, because coaching doesn't work if you don't study the highlights. Exactly. We have to study ourselves in everything we do. Dancers practice in front of a mirror. When I was preparing for big shows with the band, we were in rehearsal rooms with a mirror. There is a reason for that. You have to know how you present if you want to take that next step forward. And this does not just affect your on-camera, your meetings, your business life. These skills, I guarantee you, will level up your personal life. If you can master how you present yourself to your loved ones, your friends, they're going to see a whole new you. And you won't wonder, gosh, did I make my point? Do they think I'm mad at them? Well, if you really know what your face is saying and your body language is saying, you won't second guess that because the message was clear. Man, that's some good stuff, man. If you're listening to this right now, you need to really go watch Amy and everything that she's doing. I want to talk real quick about your coaching, because the coaching that you do, I just feel like it's something that's unique. It's something that they will get at Amy coaching them and not just a cookie cutter template. Right. What makes your coaching style unique and different from the others? Because it's very personalized. We're going to find your message. I'm not going to change somebody. I'm going to bring the best out of them. And because I have worked with these skills, I'm not just a coach that only has been a news anchor and that's all I've ever done. And I read a prompter. And so now I coach people how to do that. I've had real life experience with professionals from all industries and helped them get over this hump. I've been that person out there in sales or learning how to be on radio and TV as a new recording artist. I've paid that dummy tax over the years to figure some of this stuff out. I've done a lot of trial and error with different professions and individuals, from the introverts to the extreme extroverts that we need to rein in a little bit, and those that we need to pull it out of them. Finding that message,
helping it stick, and doing a lot of studying and researching on the back end. So what you're getting with me is my 20 years of all of these businesses and experience in this, and seeing the success model come to play with real stories and real people that I can say, hey, this really worked. I had a wonderful gentleman I worked with a couple years ago. He could not speak in front of an audience. And I mean, even his own sales team of 10 people. He could not. He would look down at the ground. He would pace back and forth. He would mumble. A couple months of this type of work and finding that place in him and practicing it and finding ways that he became more confident and self-aware. I sat in the room when he presented in front of 500 industry professionals, and he nailed it. And that was a win. And that's the testimony that says, I can get you there. And we'll get you there. It's what's comfortable for you. I'm not trying to turn you into Amy. I'm just trying to find the best you, and we're going to bring it out. And your future self will thank me.
I mean, Amy has been on Dr. Phil, if I have to say that again, because, I mean, there's some street credit to this. She's not just talking this talk. She's walking in the walk she's walking the walk too. When people are watching this and they're studying where they are and where they want to be, specifically talking to those who are in the media world and they're trying to increase their influence and their ability to rise in the ranks. Based on your own experience, I mean, yes, we know you're an author and you're a coach and music artist and also media personality. What are some of the core skill sets that a media personality can absorb as they're trying to strive to be that very polished professional?
First, take the limits off. Don't say, nope, I can't, I never will, I don't like it. Take the limits off. We can all take limits off. Doesn't mean we change who you are. Take off the limits first. Be willing to be coachable. The second thing, and as we discussed earlier, you really have to have a sense of humor. Don't take yourself so seriously, because let me even the playing field. Everyone gets nervous. Everyone uses those filler words. Everybody has the moment where, that didn't work. We all do, myself included. So even the playing field, let's find that sense of humor. And now let's find your steps to success in this. I get it. Let me tell you, even for me, when you put me in a stadium of 30,000 people, and I'm about to sing the national anthem a cappella on live television, don't think I don't have to walk through these same steps myself to talk myself into that place of reverence for what I'm doing, remembering my why, focus, not caring about my hair, makeup, or how I look, being aware of my body language, and that I want to reflect what it is I'm doing, the joy, the honor, the reverence, and I'm ready. But I have to walk through the steps myself, and even taking those 5 minutes beforehand completely alone and focusing, clear the noise, no cell phone 30 minutes before I appear on anything, so that there's no new noise in my head, because that will happen before. If you're about to go on an interview or on television, I guarantee your kid's going to call that they're broken down on the side of the road. Someone's going to call about something. A client's going to say they're canceling a transaction. Something always happens right before. So we have to clear that noise so we're 100% in the game of what we're doing. I have to do these steps myself. And what I love is watching others learn those techniques to have the same successes.
Yeah, I like that idea. Speaking of being that mirror, reflecting not just what you're trying to do, but also what you want the audience to experience.
Yes.
And I never really thought of it that way until I met you, Amy. So thank you for the secret sauce.
You're going to stay in touch with me and let me know how that's working.
Now I'd be on camera more, because it's almost like riding a bike. When you first try it, you always scrape your knees and you need Band-Aids. And I think that's what it's like when people are on video, as far as like people who are nervous to be on video, because they're so self-conscious about, there's the other person on the other side. Are they going to scold me on YouTube? But I like what you're saying, because if you really just focus on the fact that you're just in the moment.
Yes.
So many things can happen from that, because you're not worried about what's going to happen 20 minutes from now. You're not going to worry about, 5 years ago. You're in the moment right now. And I feel like that's when the energy really starts creating magic.
Yes, completely. I mean, I started singing the national anthem at like 5 years old, practicing for those moments. Now, as a grown adult, to stand in a stadium and actually do it with veterans all around me, why would I want to rob myself the joy of that moment and delivering my best that I've practiced for by being distracted by the nerves of the camera? It would be such a waste and such a tragic moment lost. I love remembering afterwards and then taking that deep breath and going, okay. Whew. And I'm actually more nervous right when it's done because then I feel it afterwards. But I go in so focused, just like an athlete going onto the field before a big game. They're focused. They clear the noise beforehand. They huddle beforehand. We have to take that same approach. Even for this interview with you, it mattered to me. Every interview matters to me. Every beautiful opportunity to share my message or encourage others matters to me. So 10 minutes before we started, my phone was put away. I cleared the noise. I was in a great mindset and 100% ready to be here with you.
Man, and just like that, it's almost like poetry right now because the time is right and we're almost about to come to the close. But before we do, I want to give you your website one more time, amyscruggsmedia.com. Call to action for people who are listening right now. What's the best way that they can support everything that you do and also they wanted to reach out to you?
You can reach me on all social media platforms. You can just find Amy Scruggs. There's really not another. I'm the easiest one to find. Google Amy Scruggs. You will find me. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Go to the website, amyscruggsmedia.com. You can email me right through there. I will see it. I will get back to you. I answer my messenger on DM and on Facebook Messenger. So just you can reach me through those socials and would love to hear from anyone. Put something together.
Yeah, it's once again time to just say, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not on the podcast, but you're watching this on YouTube, on Refocus Radio, I want to say, make sure you catch up with Amy because everything that you learn and I learned on this interview is focus on the now, focus on your delivery. In radio, we say smile because people can feel the energy when you talk.
Oh, yes.
But also don't forget to smile when you're on video, on camera, because you don't want people to think you're mad all the time. And I want to say also, last but not least, believe in yourself, because I think that's also a situation people have to overcome. You have to first believe that you can actually do something. Yes. And once you have that power of belief, doing it is not that hard. You just got to go. It's like, it's time to do it. You've been practicing what Amy's been saying. You're going to go to her website, amyscruggsmedia.com, and learn more about what she does and get her coaching. But you're going to actually do it too as well. So get on the field, do it, do your thing. But most importantly, I want to say thank you to Amy for being on our show today to share not just your wisdom and insight, but also just being yourself, because that's what makes a difference more than anything.
Thank you. It was an honor to be with you today. Thank you so much.